The lie you've been told about strength. Good afternoon. I want to begin by thanking you for being here today, for choosing to spend this time with me, and for being open to a conversation that I believe has the power to shift something deep within you. My name is LeAnne Dolce, pronounced Dolce, like sweet softness whispered in French, and I am the host of the Soft Girl Era podcast, a soul centered platform where high achieving Black women unlearn survival, rediscover softness, and reclaim the joy, rest, and freedom they deserve without guilt, without apology, and without explanation. Recently, I had the profound honor of sitting down with Tohorah Walker, a Hebrew Israelite woman born in Israel and raised in America whose journey has been nothing short of transformative. Tohorah is a woman who has experienced what so many Black women go through: the weight of expectation, the pressure to be strong, the demand to carry everyone and everything. And yet, she chose a different path. She didn't give in to becoming harder, more guarded, or bitter. She didn't allow pain to strip her of her femininity or her faith. Instead, she allowed her faith to be the foundation of what being a woman means, not society's misguided definitions, but a truth rooted in something far deeper, far more powerful. Tohora's work is making the world a better place because she is teaching women that softness is not surrender. She is showing us that grace, emotional clarity, and femininity can be conscious, strategic choices that protect our peace while still allowing us to move boldly in business, in relationships, and in life. And today I want to share with you the insights I gained from our conversation. Insights that challenge everything we've been taught about strength, survival, and what it means to lead as a woman of faith. Let me start with something that might surprise you. We live in a world that has convinced Black women that softness is weakness, that if you want to survive, you must become harder. You must build walls. You must guard your heart. You must never let anyone see you vulnerable. Never let anyone see you rest. Never let anyone see you need anything. And so we put on the cape. We become the superwoman. We lead teams, raise families, hold down households, carry communities, and we do it all without complaint, without rest, without permission to simply be. But here's the truth that Tohorah shared with me, a truth that stopped me in my tracks. Softness is not weakness. Softness for Black women can be a disciplined, faith rooted form of strength, clarity, and leadership. It is not passivity. It is not fragility. It is not surrender. Softness is a radical act of self love, a conscious decision to protect your peace, to honor your femininity, and to lead with discernment and dignity without adopting a hardened posture that the world demands of you. Think about that for a moment. We have been taught that survival requires us to become less feminine, less soft, less open. We have been taught that if we want respect, we must harden ourselves, close ourselves off, and never let anyone see the tender parts of who we are. But what if that's a lie? What if the very thing we've been running from, our softness, our grace, our emotional clarity, is actually the thing that makes us most powerful? Tohorah's journey is a testament to this truth. Born in Israel, raised in America, she navigated the lived realities that so many Black women face. She experienced the pressure to conform, the expectation to be strong, the demand to carry more than she should. But instead of allowing that pain to harden her, she chose faith. She chose to let her faith be the foundation of her understanding of womanhood, not the distorted messages society fed her. And in doing so, she discovered something profound. Faith can be a leadership framework. When a woman is grounded in faith, she can lead with discernment, dignity, and self respect without adopting a hardened posture. She doesn't need to prove her strength by becoming someone she's not. She doesn't need to sacrifice her femininity to be taken seriously. She doesn't need to carry the weight of the world on her shoulders to be worthy of respect. Faith gives her the clarity to know who she is, the courage to set boundaries, and the wisdom to lead from a place of peace rather than pressure. This is the first key insight I want to leave with you today. Faith is not just something you practice on Sundays. It is not just something you turn to when life gets hard. Faith can be the very framework through which you lead your life, your business, your relationships. When you are grounded in faith, you are grounded in truth. And when you are grounded in truth, you don't need to perform strength. You simply are strong. But let's go deeper because the second insight Tohorah shared with me is equally transformative. Softness is strategic, not fragile. We have been conditioned to believe that softness makes us vulnerable, that it opens us up to being hurt, taken advantage of, or dismissed. But what if softness is actually a form of protection? What if choosing grace, emotional clarity, and femininity is a conscious way of protecting your peace while still moving boldly in business and life? Think about the women you admire, the women who seem to glide through life with a quiet confidence, who set boundaries without apology, who say no without guilt, who rest without explanation. These women are not weak. They are not fragile. They are strategic. They understand that their energy is sacred, that their peace is precious, and that protecting both requires a level of discipline and discernment that most people never develop. Tohorah embodies this. She has learned to move through the world with grace, not because she is naive or passive, but because she understands that softness is a choice. It is a deliberate, faith rooted decision to refuse to let the world harden her. It is a refusal to let pain, disappointment, or betrayal strip her of her femininity. It is a commitment to protecting her peace, even when the world demands that she sacrifice it. And here's what's so powerful about this: when you choose softness, you are not choosing to be weak. You are choosing to be whole. You are choosing to honor every part of who you are: the strong parts and the tender parts, the fierce parts and the gentle parts. You are refusing to let society's narrow definition of strength dictate how you show up in the world. And in doing so, you become more powerful, not less. This brings me to the third insight. Identity shapes impact. When Black women define womanhood for themselves rather than accepting external pressure, they create healthier relationships, stronger businesses, and more aligned lives. This is not just theory. This is lived experience. This is what Tohorah has discovered on her journey, and it is what so many women who are stepping into their soft girl era are discovering as well. For too long, we have allowed others to define what it means to be a woman. We have allowed family expectations, church roles, boardroom rules, and societal norms to shape our identity. We have allowed the world to tell us that we must be strong, that we must be independent, that we must never need anyone, that we must carry everything on our own. And in the process, we have lost ourselves. But when you reclaim your identity, when you define womanhood for yourself, rooted in faith, rooted in truth, rooted in who you were created to be. Everything changes. Your relationships become healthier because you are no longer performing a version of yourself that isn't real. Your business becomes stronger because you are leading from a place of authenticity and alignment. Your life becomes more joyful because you are finally living in a way that honors who you truly are. Tohorah's story is a powerful reminder of this. She didn't allow society to define her. She didn't allow pain to distort her understanding of womanhood. She allowed her faith to be the foundation, and in doing so, she created a life that is aligned, authentic, and deeply fulfilling. Now, I want to share something with you that illustrates the power of this shift. I think about a woman I know who spent 20 years climbing the corporate ladder. She was brilliant, driven, relentless. She earned every promotion, every accolade, every title. But somewhere along the way, she stopped recognizing herself in the mirror. She had become so hard, so guarded, so disconnected from her own emotions that she didn't even know what brought her joy anymore. She had sacrificed her softness on the altar of success, believing that was the only way to survive in a world that demanded so much from her. One day she found herself sitting in her corner office, staring out the window, and she realized something that shook her to her core. She had everything she thought she wanted, and she had never felt more empty. That's when she made a decision. She decided to stop performing strength and start embodying it. She decided to stop sacrificing her peace for the approval of others. She decided to reclaim her softness, not as a sign of weakness, but as a declaration of her wholeness. And everything changed. She started setting boundaries at work. She started saying no to projects that drained her. She started prioritizing rest, not as a luxury, but as a necessity. She started reconnecting with the parts of herself she had buried: her creativity, her spirituality, her femininity. And as she did, something remarkable happened. Her relationships deepened, her business thrived, her life became more joyful, more aligned, more whole. This is what happens when you choose softness. This is what happens when you refuse to let the world harden you. This is what happens when you allow faith to be your foundation and identity to be your compass. But here's the truth that we need to confront: the world doesn't want you to be soft, the world wants you to be strong, hard, unyielding. The world wants you to keep carrying the cape, keep performing, keep sacrificing your peace for the comfort of others. Because when you are soft, when you are whole, when you are grounded in your truth, you become dangerous. You become a woman who cannot be controlled, cannot be manipulated, cannot be diminished. And that terrifies the systems that have profited from your exhaustion. So they tell you that softness is weakness. They tell you that rest is laziness. They tell you that boundaries are selfish. They tell you that if you stop carrying everyone and everything, you are failing. But that is a lie. The truth is that softness is strength, rest is resistance, boundaries are sacred, and choosing yourself is not selfish, it is survival. This is the message that Tohorah Walker is bringing to the world. This is the truth that she is living, breathing, and teaching. And this is the invitation that I am extending to you today. What would change in your life, your relationships, and your business if you stopped asking whether you need to be harder to survive and started asking how you can remain faithful, feminine, and fully powerful at the same time? What if you gave yourself permission to release the cape? What if you stopped performing strength and started embodying it? What if you allowed yourself to be soft, not because you are weak, but because you are wise enough to know that softness is a form of strength that the world desperately needs? This is the invitation of the soft girl era. This is the sacred pause that Black women have been waiting for. It is not a trend, it is a lifestyle rebellion. It is a deep exhale from the Superwoman script. It is a quiet but powerful return to softness, rest, self trust, and radical joy. And it starts with a choice to let go of hustle as identity, a choice to learn to say no without guilt, a choice to set boundaries without apology, a choice to rest without explanation, a choice to embrace healing, wholeness, softness, and emotional honesty. Tohorah Walker has made that choice. And in doing so, she has become a beacon of light for women who are ready to do the same. She is teaching us that faith can be a leadership framework, that softness is strategic, and that identity shapes impact. She is showing us that we don't have to become harder to survive. We can remain faithful, feminine, and fully powerful all at the same time. So here's my challenge to you today. I want you to go home and look yourself in the mirror. I want you to ask yourself one question. Who am I when I am not performing? Who am I when I am not carrying the weight of the world? Who am I when I am simply me? And then I want you to make a decision. Are you going to keep living the lie that strength requires hardness? Are you going to keep sacrificing your peace, your joy, your softness on the altar of survival? Are you going to keep allowing the world to define what it means to be a woman, to be strong, to be worthy? Or are you going to choose something different? Are you going to choose faith as your foundation? Are you going to choose softness as your strategy? Are you going to choose to define your identity for yourself, rooted in truth, rooted in wholeness, rooted in the sacred knowledge that you were created to be exactly who you are? Because here's what I know to be true: the world needs your softness, the world needs your grace, the world needs your emotional clarity, your femininity, your faith rooted strength. The world needs women who are brave enough to be whole, courageous enough to be soft, and powerful enough to refuse to let anyone tell them that they are anything less than sacred. That is the revolution. That is the soft girl era. And it starts with you. So I leave you with this: stop surviving and start thriving. Stop performing and start being. Stop hardening and start softening. Stop asking if you are strong enough and start knowing that you already are. Because you are not here to carry the world, you are here to change it. Thank you.